Hey there, welcome to the Accent English language. Have you ever found yourself struggling to make a good impression in online chats? Maybe you felt awkward or unsure how to keep a conversation going on social media. Well, you're not alone. In today's digital world, being able to shine in online conversations is a valuable skill. Whether it's for work, making friends, or just enjoying better online interactions, we've got you covered. In this video, we'll explore some practical tips to help you become a pro at online communication. So, let's dive in and learn how to make your online conversations truly sparkle. First, let's talk about the importance of a strong opening message. Your first message sets the tone for the entire conversation. Start with a friendly greeting and add something personal or relevant. For example, "Hi Sarah, I saw your post about hiking. Which trails do you recommend?" This shows you've paid attention and gives the other person something specific to respond to. Next, let's consider the power of asking good questions. Questions keep the conversation flowing and show you're interested. Try to ask open-ended questions that require more than a yes or no answer. Instead of, "Did you like the movie?" try, "What did you think about the plot twist in the movie?" This encourages the other person to share more and keeps the chat engaging. Now, let's talk about the art of active listening, even in text form. Show that you're paying attention by referring back to things the other person has said. For instance, you mentioned you love Italian food. Have you tried making pasta from scratch? This demonstrates that you value what they're saying and helps build a connection. Timing is crucial in online conversations. Try to respond in a timely manner, but don't feel pressured to reply instantly. Taking a moment to craft a thoughtful response is often better than a rushed reply. If you need more time, it's okay to say, "I'll get back to you on that later today." Let's discuss the importance of clarity in your messages. Online, we don't have the benefit of tone and body language. Be clear and specific to avoid misunderstandings. Instead of, "Want to hang out?" try, "Would you like to meet for coffee at Starbucks on Main Street this Saturday at 2 p.m.? Emojis and GIFs can be great tools for adding emotion to your messages. They can help convey tone and make your conversation more fun and engaging. But remember, use them in moderation and consider the context of your conversation. Now, let's talk about handling disagreements online. It's easy for misunderstandings to escalate in text form. If you disagree with something, take a moment before responding. Express your opinion respectfully and try to see things from their perspective. For example, "I see where you're coming from, but I have a different view. Here's why." Sharing interesting content can be a great way to keep conversations going. If you come across an article, video, or meme that reminds you of the person or relates to your conversation, share it. This gives you both something new to discuss and shows you're thinking of them. Let's address the importance of respecting boundaries in online conversations. Pay attention to the other person's level of engagement. If they're giving short responses or taking long to reply, they might be busy or not in the mood to chat. It's okay to give people space and pick up the conversation later. Now, let's talk about how to gracefully end a conversation online. It can feel awkward to just stop replying, so try to wrap things up politely. You could say something like, "It's been great chatting. I need to run now, but let's talk again soon." Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you engage in online conversations, the more comfortable and skilled you'll become. Don't be afraid to try these tips with different people in various online settings. Lastly, always be yourself. Authenticity shines through, even in online conversations. Share your genuine thoughts and interests, and you'll naturally connect with like-minded people. Let's talk about preparation. Being ready can boost your confidence and help you communicate more smoothly. Before joining an online conversation, take a few minutes to think about potential topics. What's been happening in your life lately? Any interesting news or events you could discuss? Having a few ideas in mind can help prevent those dreaded silent moments. Next, consider your environment. Find a quiet, well-lit space for your online chats. Good lighting helps others see you clearly, which is important for nonverbal communication. Make sure your background is tidy and not distracting. A neat space can help you feel more put together and focused. Now, let's talk about starting conversations. A great way to begin is by asking open-ended questions. Instead of, "How are you?" try, "What's been keeping you busy lately?" This encourages more detailed responses and can lead to more interesting discussions. Speaking of questions, being a good listener is crucial in online conversations. Pay attention to what others are saying. Show interest by nodding or using small verbal cues like or "I see." When it's your turn to speak, refer back to what they've said. This shows you were listening and helps build a connection. Body language matters, even in online chats. Sit up straight and lean slightly towards the camera. This posture shows engagement and interest. Remember to smile naturally. It makes you appear friendly and approachable. Eye contact is tricky in online conversations, but it's still important. Look directly at your camera when speaking, not at the screen. This gives the impression of making eye contact with the other person. It might feel strange at first, but it makes a big difference in how you come across. Let's talk about your voice. Speak clearly and at a moderate pace. Online connections can sometimes cause delays, so speaking too quickly might make it hard for others to understand you. Vary your tone to keep things interesting. A monotone voice can make even the most exciting topics seem dull. Humor can be a great tool in online conversations, but use it wisely. Start with light, universally relatable jokes. Avoid sarcasm or overly complex humor, as these can be easily misunderstood without in-person cues. If you're in a group conversation, try to include everyone. Address people by name when asking questions or responding to comments. This helps create a more inclusive atmosphere and keeps everyone engaged. Don't be afraid of short silences. They're natural in any conversation. Use these moments to gather your thoughts or let others contribute. Rushing to fill every silence can lead to interrupting others or saying things you haven't thought through. If technical issues arise, stay calm. Have a backup plan, like switching to audio only if video isn't working well. Being prepared for these situations can help you handle them gracefully. Now, let's talk about ending conversations. It can be tricky to know when and how to wrap things up online. Pay attention to natural lulls in the conversation or time constraints. You can say something like, "It's been great chatting, but I've got to run. Let's catch up again soon." After the conversation, follow up if appropriate. Send a quick message thanking them for their time or sharing a relevant article you discussed. This helps maintain the connection and shows you valued the interaction. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more online conversations you have, the more comfortable you'll become. Don't be too hard on yourself if things don't go perfectly every time. Each conversation is a chance to learn and improve. First, let's talk about the importance of a strong profile. Your profile is often the first thing people see when interacting with you online. Make sure it's complete and reflects who you are. Use a clear, friendly profile picture. Write a brief but interesting bio. This helps others get a sense of who you are before the conversation even starts. Now, let's move on to starting conversations. One great way to begin is by asking open-ended questions. These are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. For example, instead of asking, "Did you like the movie?" try, "What did you think about the plot twists in the movie?" This encourages more detailed responses and keeps the conversation flowing. Another tip is to show genuine interest in what others are saying. Read their messages carefully before responding. Reference specific points they've made in your replies. This shows that you're really listening and engaging with their thoughts. It's also important to be mindful of your tone in online conversations. Remember, without facial expressions and body language, words can be misinterpreted. Use emojis or descriptive language to convey your tone when necessary. But be careful not to overuse emojis, as this can come across as unprofessional in some contexts. Sharing relevant personal experiences can also help you shine in online conversations. If someone mentions a challenge they're facing, you could share a similar experience you've had. This creates a connection and shows empathy. Just be careful not to make the conversation all about you. Another key skill is knowing how to keep the conversation going. If you feel the chat is slowing down, try introducing a new, related topic. You could say something like, "That reminds me of," or, "Speaking of that, have you ever?" This helps to broaden the conversation and keep it interesting. It's also crucial to respect others' opinions, even when you disagree. Online spaces can sometimes become heated when people have different views. Instead of arguing, try to understand their perspective. You could say, "That's an interesting point. I see it differently because..." This approach can lead to more productive and enjoyable conversations. Let's talk about the importance of timing in online conversations. Try to respond in a timely manner, but don't feel pressured to reply instantly. Taking a moment to think about your response can lead to more meaningful exchanges. Another tip is to use proper grammar and spelling. While occasional typos are understandable, consistently poor writing can make it hard for others to understand you. It can also make you appear careless or unprofessional. Don't be afraid to use humor in your online conversations. A well-timed joke or funny observation can lighten the mood and make you more approachable. Just be mindful that humor doesn't always translate well in text, so use it carefully. If you're in a group conversation, try to include everyone. Address people by name and ask for their thoughts on the topic. This helps create a more inclusive and engaging environment for all participants. When it comes to disagreements, handle them gracefully. If you've made a mistake, admit it and apologize. If someone else is wrong, correct them politely without making them feel bad. This shows maturity and earns respect from others in the conversation. Remember to be yourself in online conversations. Authenticity shines through, even in digital interactions. Don't try to be someone you're not just to impress others. Lastly, know when to end a conversation. If the chat is naturally winding down, it's okay to politely excuse yourself. You could say something like, "It's been great chatting with you. I need to go now, but let's talk again soon." Let's talk about the importance of being present. When you're in an online conversation, give it your full attention. Close unnecessary tabs and put your phone away. This helps you focus and shows respect to the person you're talking to. Next, remember to use nonverbal cues, even online. Nod your head to show you're listening. Smile when appropriate. These small gestures can make a big difference in how you come across. Now, let's discuss the power of active listening. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Really listen to what the other person is saying. Try repeating key points to show you're engaged. For example, you could say, "So, if I understand correctly, you're saying..." Here's a tip that many people overlook. Pay attention to your tone of voice. Without visual cues, your tone becomes even more important online. Speak clearly and at a moderate pace. Try to sound warm and friendly, but still professional. Let's move on to the art of asking questions. Good questions can keep a conversation flowing smoothly. Ask open-ended questions that encourage detailed responses. Instead of, "Did you have a good weekend?" try, "What was the highlight of your weekend?" Now, here's something many people struggle with: dealing with silence. In online conversations, brief pauses can feel awkward. But remember, it's okay to take a moment to think. If a silence feels too long, you can always say, "That's an interesting point. Let me think about that for a second." Let's talk about the importance of being concise. In online chats, it's easy to ramble. Try to make your points clearly and briefly. This helps keep the conversation engaging for everyone involved. Here's a practical tip: prepare your environment. Make sure you have good lighting so others can see you clearly. Check that your background is tidy and professional. Test your microphone and camera before important calls. Now, let's discuss how to handle technical issues. They're bound to happen sometimes. Stay calm and have a backup plan. Maybe you could switch to a phone call if video isn't working. Here's something many people forget: practice makes perfect. Try having casual online chats with friends or family. This can help you feel more comfortable in professional settings. Let's talk about the importance of being yourself. It's easy to feel pressure to present a perfect image online. But authenticity is key to meaningful conversations. Share your genuine thoughts and experiences. Now, here's a tip for group conversations: be inclusive. Try to involve everyone in the discussion. You could say, "Sarah, what are your thoughts on this?" Let's discuss the power of positive language. Use words that are encouraging and supportive. This can help create a friendly atmosphere, even in professional settings. Here's something to keep in mind: be mindful of cultural differences. In online global conversations, be aware that gestures or phrases might mean different things to different people. Now, let's talk about how to end conversations gracefully. Sum up key points and any action items. Thank the other person for their time. You could say, "It was great chatting with you. Let's touch base again next week." Let's begin by looking at the different types of online conversations we have. There's instant messaging, which is quick and casual. Then we have email, which tends to be more formal. Social media comments and replies are often public and can spark larger discussions. Video calls bring us face-to-face, even when we're miles apart. Each of these has its own set of unwritten rules and expectations. Now, let's talk about the benefits of online conversations. They allow us to stay in touch with people all over the world. We can share information instantly, no matter the distance. Online chats can be a lifeline for those who feel isolated or lonely. They also give shy people a chance to express themselves more comfortably. But it's not all positive, is it? Online conversations can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. Without tone of voice or body language, it's easy to misinterpret messages. This can cause unnecessary conflicts or hurt feelings. Have you ever sent a text that was taken the wrong way? It's a common experience in the digital age. Let's consider how online conversations affect our relationships. They can help us maintain long-distance friendships and family ties. But they might also reduce the quality of our in-person interactions. How often have you seen a group of friends all staring at their phones instead of talking? It's a scenario that's become all too familiar. Now, let's explore some tips for better online communication. First, always consider your audience and the context of your message. A work email should be more formal than a text to a friend. Try to be clear and concise to avoid misunderstandings. If you're discussing something important, consider a phone or video call instead of text. Remember, emojis can help convey tone, but use them wisely. Let's talk about the impact of online conversations on language. We're seeing new words and abbreviations pop up all the time. FOMO. These were all born from online chats. Our language is evolving faster than ever because of online communication. What do you think about these changes? Are they enriching our language or dumbing it down? Now, let's consider the role of online conversations in education and work. Remote learning and working have become more common, especially since the pandemic. This means more of our important conversations are happening online. It's crucial to develop good digital communication skills for success in these areas. How can we make online classes and meetings more engaging and effective? Let's not forget about the dark side of online conversations. Cyberbullying and online harassment are serious issues. The anonymity of the internet can bring out the worst in some people. It's important to be aware of these risks and know how to protect ourselves. What steps can we take to make online spaces safer for everyone? Now, let's think about the future of online conversations. Will virtual reality change how we interact online? How might artificial intelligence impact our digital communications? These technologies could make online conversations feel more like face-to-face interactions. But they also raise new questions about privacy and authenticity. Let's wrap up by reflecting on how we can strike a balance. How can we enjoy the benefits of online conversations without losing touch with real-world interactions? Maybe it's about setting boundaries, like having phone-free dinners with friends and family. Or perhaps it's about being more mindful of the quality of our online interactions. What strategies have you found helpful in managing your online conversations? Let's talk about why online English conversations are so valuable. They give you a chance to practice in a low-pressure environment. You can chat with people from different countries and cultures. This exposure helps you learn new expressions and improve your accent. Now, where can you find these online conversation opportunities? There are many platforms designed specifically for language exchange. Some popular ones include HelloTalk, Tandem, and Conversation Exchange. These apps connect you with native speakers who want to learn your language. It's a win-win situation. Social media can also be a great place for English practice. Join Facebook groups focused on English learning. Follow English language accounts on Instagram or Twitter. Engage in discussions and comments to practice your writing skills. Let's move on to some tips for successful online English conversations. Start by setting realistic goals for yourself. Maybe aim to have one 10-minute conversation per day. As you gain confidence, you can increase the duration and frequency. Prepare topics in advance to avoid awkward silences. Keep a list of interesting questions or conversation starters handy. This could include things like, "What's your favorite movie?" or "Tell me about your hometown." Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Remember, everyone learning a language makes errors. Native speakers usually appreciate your effort to communicate. If you're unsure about something, ask for clarification. Say something like, "Could you please repeat that?" Or, "What does that word mean?" Use online resources to support your conversations. Keep a dictionary tab open for quick word lookups. Use Google Images to show pictures of things you're trying to describe. This can be especially helpful when you don't know the exact word in English. Practice active listening during your conversations. Try to understand the main ideas, even if you don't catch every word. Nod or use phrases like "I see" or "aha" to show you're following along. Experiment with different types of online conversations. Try one-on-one chats, group discussions, and even voice or video calls. Each format offers unique benefits and challenges. Consider joining online English classes or conversation groups. These structured environments can help you build skills systematically. Many websites offer free or low-cost conversation practice sessions. Here's a fun idea. Start a language exchange journal with an online partner. Write short entries about your day or thoughts in English. Have your partner correct your writing and do the same for them in their target language. Don't forget about the power of online games for language practice. Many multiplayer games have chat features. You can practice English while having fun and completing game objectives. Recording yourself speaking English can be incredibly helpful. Use your phone or computer to make short videos discussing various topics. Watch them back to identify areas for improvement in your pronunciation and fluency. Try shadowing exercises with online content. Find a short English video or podcast that interests you. Listen to it several times, then try to speak along with the audio. This helps improve your pronunciation and intonation. Join online book clubs or movie discussion groups. These give you structured topics to discuss and expand your vocabulary. You'll also learn about different cultures and perspectives. Remember to be patient with yourself. Language learning is a journey, not a race. Celebrate small victories, like understanding a joke or explaining a complex idea. If you're feeling stuck, don't hesitate to seek help. Many online communities offer support and encouragement. You can also find English tutors for more personalized guidance. Let's talk about preparation. It's always a good idea to have some topics in mind before your conversation. Think about current events, your hobbies, or interesting experiences you've had. This way, you'll have something to talk about if there's a lull in the conversation. Next, focus on listening carefully to your conversation partner. Pay attention to their words, tone, and any background context they provide. This will help you understand them better and respond more accurately. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. It's perfectly okay to say, "Could you please repeat that?" or "What do you mean by?" Your conversation partner will appreciate your effort to understand them fully. Now, let's discuss the importance of body language, even in online conversations. Maintain eye contact by looking at your camera, not just your screen. Smile and nod to show you're engaged in the conversation. These nonverbal cues can make a big difference in how comfortable your partner feels. Speaking of comfort, try to relax and be yourself. Remember, making mistakes is a natural part of learning a language. Don't let the fear of errors hold you back from expressing yourself. Here's a helpful tip. Use fillers and connectors to buy yourself time to think. Phrases like, "Well, you know," or "Let me think about that," can give you a moment to gather your thoughts. Practice active listening by repeating or paraphrasing what your partner has said. This shows you're paying attention and helps confirm your understanding. If you're using video chat, make sure your background is tidy and well-lit. A clean, professional-looking environment can help you feel more confident. Don't forget to speak clearly and at a moderate pace. It's tempting to rush when you're nervous, but taking your time can actually improve your fluency. Here's a fun exercise. Try describing objects around you in detail. This can help you practice vocabulary and sentence structure in real time. Remember to be patient with yourself and your conversation partner. Learning a language takes time, and everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. If you're struggling to express an idea, try explaining it in simpler terms. Sometimes, using basic vocabulary can be more effective than searching for complex words. Consider joining online language exchange communities. These platforms can connect you with native speakers for regular conversation practice. When you're chatting online, take advantage of the chat function. You can type out words or phrases you're unsure about pronouncing. Don't hesitate to use online resources during your conversation. Having a dictionary or translator open in another tab can be a helpful backup. Try to incorporate new vocabulary or grammar structures you've recently learned. This practical application will help solidify your knowledge. If you're feeling nervous, take a deep breath before speaking. This can help calm your nerves and clear your mind. Remember, it's okay to have moments of silence in a conversation. Use these pauses to collect your thoughts or formulate your next sentence. Practice active listening by asking follow-up questions based on what your partner has said. This shows genuine interest and keeps the conversation flowing naturally. If you make a mistake, don't dwell on it. Simply correct yourself and move on with the conversation. Try to balance your speaking and listening time. Aim for a give-and-take rhythm in the conversation. If you're struggling with pronunciation, don't be afraid to ask your partner for help. Most people are happy to assist with correct pronunciation. Remember that cultural differences can impact communication styles. Be open-minded and willing to learn about your partner's cultural background. Consider recording your conversations with permission to review later. This can help you identify areas for improvement and track your progress over time. Lastly, celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Every conversation is an opportunity to learn and grow in your language skills. Let's talk about preparation. It's always a good idea to be ready before your online conversation. Take a few minutes to think about the topics you might discuss. Write down some key words or phrases related to those topics. This will help you feel more prepared and less anxious. Next, remember to speak clearly and at a moderate pace. When we're nervous, we tend to speak quickly. Try to slow down and pronounce your words carefully. This will make it easier for others to understand you. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. It's perfectly okay to say, "Could you please repeat that?" Or, "What do you mean by?" Most people are happy to explain things more clearly. Use simple language at first. As you become more comfortable, you can start using more complex vocabulary. Remember, effective communication is more important than using fancy words. Practice active listening. Pay attention to what the other person is saying. This will help you respond appropriately and keep the conversation flowing. Try to relax and be yourself. Remember that making mistakes is a normal part of learning a language. Don't worry too much about being perfect. If you're using video chat, make sure you have good lighting. Position yourself so that your face is clearly visible. This helps with nonverbal communication and makes the conversation feel more natural. Pay attention to your body language, even in online conversations. Smile, nod, and use hand gestures when appropriate. This helps to convey your message and keeps the conversation engaging. If you're typing in a chat, take your time to write your responses. Read over your message before sending it to check for any errors. This can help you avoid misunderstandings. Learn some common internet abbreviations and emojis. These can be useful in casual online conversations. But be careful not to overuse them in more formal settings. If you're having trouble expressing an idea, try explaining it in different words. Sometimes, a simple explanation works better than a complicated one. Don't be shy about using online resources during your conversation. It's okay to quickly look up a word or phrase if you need to. Practice regularly with language exchange partners. There are many websites and apps where you can find people to practice with. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become. Remember that cultural differences can affect communication. Be open-minded and respectful of others' backgrounds and perspectives. If you're in a group conversation, try to involve everyone. Ask questions and show interest in what others have to say. Learn some phrases for managing technical issues. For example, I think my connection is unstable, or can you hear me clearly? These can be helpful if you encounter any problems during your conversation. Take breaks if you need to. Online conversations can be tiring, especially in a foreign language. It's okay to ask for a short break if you're feeling overwhelmed. After your conversation, take some time to reflect. Think about what went well and what you could improve next time. This self-reflection can help you progress in your language learning journey. Remember, the goal of these conversations is to communicate and learn. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to be perfect. Enjoy the process of improving your English skills. Let's talk about the importance of clear communication on social media. In the digital age, our online presence is often our first impression. Good English skills can help you make a positive impact and build meaningful connections. Now, let's look at some key aspects of English for social media. 1. Informal language and abbreviations. Social media often uses casual language. Common abbreviations include THO for laugh out loud and TBH for to be honest. Here's an example. TBH, I'm L at that meme you posted. Remember, context is key when using these terms. 2. Emoji usage. Emojis can add emotion and context to your messages. They're like digital body language. For instance, I can't wait for the weekend. Smiling face with smiling eyes shows excitement. But be careful not to overuse them, as it can make your message hard to read. Hashtags. Hashtags help categorize content and join conversations. They're great for connecting with others who share your interests. For example, #TravelTuesday is popular among travel enthusiasts. Try creating your own hashtag for a personal touch. 4. Responding to comments. When someone comments on your post, it's polite to respond. Keep your replies friendly and concise. Example, thanks for your comment. I'm glad you enjoyed the post. This encourages further interaction and builds community. 5. Handling disagreements. Online disagreements can happen, but stay respectful. Use phrases like, I see your point, but I think, to express your view politely. Avoid using all caps, as it's seen as shouting online. 6. Sharing content. When sharing articles or videos, add your own thoughts. This sparks conversation and shows your personality. For instance, this article about climate change is eye-opening. What do you think? 7. Grammar and spelling. While social media is informal, basic grammar is still important. Use spell check tools if you're unsure. Proper punctuation helps convey your message clearly. 8. Cultural sensitivity. Be aware of cultural differences in your global audience. Avoid idioms or references that might not translate well. When in doubt, keep it simple and respectful. 9. Timing your posts. Consider when your audience is most active. Posting at peak times increases engagement. Experiment with different times to see what works best for you. 10. Asking questions. Questions are great for encouraging interaction. They show you value others' opinions. Example, what's your favorite way to relax after a long day? 11. Using polls and surveys. Many platforms offer poll features. These are fun ways to engage your followers and gather opinions. Try something like, which season is the best? Vote now. 12. Storytelling. People love stories, even in short social media posts. Share personal anecdotes or experiences related to your content. This helps create a connection with your audience. 13. Handling negative comments. Sometimes you might receive negative feedback. Stay calm and professional in your response. Thank them for their input and offer to discuss it further if needed. 14. Tagging and mentions. Use tags to connect with specific users or brands. This can help expand your reach and build relationships. Remember to tag responsibly and respect others' privacy. 15. Creating engaging captions. Captions are your chance to add context to photos or videos. Make them interesting, funny, or thought-provoking. Example, this sunset took my breath away. Nature's best show is always free. Let's practice with a scenario. Imagine you've just watched a great movie and want to share your thoughts. You could post, "Just watched the social network." It's amazing how much social media has changed since then. What's your favorite movie about technology? Hashtag movie night, hashtag tech talk. This post uses a hashtag, asks a question, and invites engagement. It's a great way to start a conversation with your followers. 1. Mastering short-form writing. Social media often requires concise communication. Learn to express your thoughts clearly in just a few words. Practice writing tweets or Instagram captions that pack a punch. Use simple, direct language to get your point across quickly. 2. Understanding internet slang and abbreviations. Social media has its own language, filled with acronyms and shorthand. Familiarize yourself with common terms like LOL, TBH, and FOMO. But be careful not to overuse them. Balance is key. Remember, not everyone knows every abbreviation, so use them wisely. 3. Improving your grammar and spelling. Nothing ruins a great post faster than obvious mistakes. Take time to proofread your content before hitting post. Use free tools like Grammarly to catch errors you might miss. Pay attention to commonly confused words like there, and there. 4. Enhancing your vocabulary. A rich vocabulary can make your posts more engaging. Learn a new word each day and try to use it in your posts. But remember, simpler words often work better on social media. Avoid using fancy words just to sound smart. Clarity is more important. 5. Mastering hashtags. Hashtags are crucial for discoverability on many platforms. Learn how to create effective, relevant hashtags for your content. Research popular hashtags in your niche and use them appropriately. Don't overdo it. A few well-chosen hashtags are better than a long list. 6. Crafting engaging captions. Your caption is often as important as the image or video you're sharing. Learn to write captions that complement your visual content. Use questions or calls to action to encourage engagement. Experiment with different styles to see what resonates with your audience. 7. Responding to comments and messages. Engagement is a two-way street on social media. Practice responding to comments in a friendly, professional manner. Learn how to handle negative feedback gracefully. Remember, your responses are visible to others, so make them count. 8. Understanding cultural differences. Social media connects you with people from diverse backgrounds. Be aware of cultural nuances in language and humor. What's funny in one culture might be offensive in another. When in doubt, err on the side of caution and respect. 9. Using emojis effectively. Emojis can add personality to your posts and comments. Learn the meanings of different emojis to avoid misunderstandings. Use them to enhance your message, not replace words entirely. Remember that some emojis might have different connotations in other cultures. 10. Creating compelling stories and posts. Learn to structure your longer posts or stories effectively. Start with a hook to grab attention, then deliver your main points. End with a strong conclusion or call to action. Practice storytelling techniques to make your content more engaging. 11. Adapting your language to different platforms. Each social media platform has its own style and audience. Learn to adjust your language for Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and others. What works on one platform might not be suitable for another. Pay attention to successful accounts in your niche and learn from them. 12. Using multimedia to support your message. Combine your improved English skills with eye-catching visuals. Learn to write effective alt text for images to improve accessibility. Create captions for videos that enhance, not just repeat, the content. Remember, good visuals and good text work together to create great content. There you have it. These tips should help you navigate online conversations with more confidence and skill. Remember, good communication is about connecting with others, whether online or in person. Keep practicing, and you'll see your online interactions improve. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on improving your communication skills. What's your best tip for great online conversations? Share in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.